Hey there, it's Enderverse. Throughout this year alone, I've showcased more mods than I have ever done in my whole life. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of mods. But through this list, I'm showing you 24 of the best and most prominent of which. Now let's dive into the video. Starting our yearly wrap up with arguably one of the best prehistoric mods ever released, the Down Era. This mod featured a fully developed environment of primitive creatures, high quality mobs that are surface dwellers and others that are aquatic animals. What's more is that you can tame almost every creature here. The difficulty of doing so will vary, could go smoothly at times and be dangerous at others. Each dinosaur here is made special through a variety of behaviors. Some are vindictive, others are neutral and normal. I've heard some rumors circulating, something about the owner of the mod burning their computer and living in the woods, which correlates with lack of updates. But again, this is just a rumor, and from the sound of it, not so believable. Vix Point Blank is the resurrection of the ancient Vix Modern Warfare mod. This remastered edition featured incredibly immersive animations, realistic sound effects, and even special visuals for discharging the firearms and for when you shoot the mobs. Vix Point Blank featured countless firearms, nearly everything you would need or think of. You need more? Well, good news! They also made it so that the guns here are modifiable and can even be redesigned from scratch. This has allowed content packs introducing armaments from popular titles like Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberpunk 2077,
New magazine detected,
Doom, and more. In addition, the mod is updated for 1.21. And guess what? For Forge and Fabric alike. This may sound like a silly statement, but this year of modding was surely American. Although Distant Horizons was released as early as 2021, I had to include it here for one reason: the shader support it featured in 2024. The impact this new update has made is immense, from cinematic masterpieces to the potential for unbelievable visuals on popular mod packs. This was made possible thanks to the collaboration between James, the author of Distant Horizons, and Iris Shaders team. Since then, many shaders have been updated to support this mod, and the impact has only grown ever since. Bench Sharks has quickly grown to be the best shark mod ever released, and one of the best animal mods in general. I would assign this success not just to the quality of these sharks, which is apparent from their models and animations, but more so to the interactions you could have with them. Almost each and every shark here grants a special effect when fed their favorite food, or for the very least drop something special upon death. Nearly all of the sharks will start to salivate if they sense any blood nearby, which is an effect you could get upon receiving damage. So be careful not to have any bleeding effect when swimming next to these creatures. ReForgedPlay is a Forge and New Forge port of the famous Replay mod. For a normal player, this may not sound so prominent, but if you happen to do showcasing for a living, you would know just how painful it is not to be able to use Replay mod on Forge. Many great mods are left undershowcased, and very special events cannot be captured. This mod has allowed me and many other YouTubers to make cinematics based on popular Forge mods such as Alex's mobs, Mousy's mobs, Cataclysm, and more. Before I move on to the next mod, I'd like to mention that in the past I used to, and actually still, showcasing Forge mods using CMD Cam, so adding it to your photographer toolkit may prove useful. Next up we have the Outer End, a terrific world generation mod for enhancing the end terrains. The mod is a minimalist choice. Though the biomes are prominent and the structures are tall, the total number of additions is kept to a minimum. This has made the outer end a part of the end rather than the end itself. The outer end has been in a dormant state for well over 3 years, up until this year. That's why I decided to include it here despite the fact that it was not created in 2024. Eternal Starlight is a mod that skillfully designed a fantasy adventure for you to embark on. The mod has many great features, from dialogues to special effects to rituals. But the thing that will blow your mind the most are the bosses. There are just 2 in total, though the number will quickly grow irrelevant when looking at their quality. The author even made it so that you could only kill the bosses through special techniques, increasing difficulty and immersion even more. I have showcased this mod 2 times already, but I could not let it miss a spot on the yearly wrap-up. Reign of Nether RTS is up next, and this is a truly exceptional mod here. It transformed Minecraft entirely, making it into a real-time strategy game. The mod was obviously not meant for mod packs. Its impact on the game is substantial, rendering it a standalone mod, a fully fledged game on its own. The mod grew significantly during its 2-month lifespan, with players doing crazy experiments with it and the potential for long and exciting multiplayer competitions. Reign of Nether RTS is impeccable, having a creative idea and quality implementation. Such combinations are rare. Once Ancient Beasts is another mod to introduce prehistoric life to Minecraft. Though in terms of originality, I'll give this mod the crown. 3 creatures are added here, none of which are of real-life presence, or even inspiration. The only place you can find them is in the author's imagination. Once Ancient Beasts mod encourages the archaeology side of the game, scattering few structures across the world with the potential to brush off an ancient egg. As the egg hatches, a baby dinosaur will emerge. As you take care of it through feeding it regularly, it will return the favor as it grows, making you into its master. Keep in mind only the walker is tameable. The rest are wild and feral creatures. There's more to explore about the mod, an entire universe of primitive fantasy creatures, with many future mobs and features in the work. Jaden's Nether expansion is a mod that will overhaul the Nether, though in a vanilla way. The mod's focus was placed on enhancing the existing features of the game. Biomes like the Soul Sand Valley received a complete makeover. The terrain has been decorated and made useful through adding new blocks and items scattered on the floor. The geology itself was altered, making the biome an actual valley with areas running between hills of soul sand blocks. In terms of the structures, you'd be glad to learn that the vanilla theme was preserved, improving upon things like the fossils and adding a fortress-like structure, hosting within it new well-designed mobs. This mod has received almost 1 million downloads in less than 3 months. I'm not one to overly glorify numbers, but this is surely an indicator of its good impact in the community. The occult is a mod with many spooky elements to it. At first you might think the mod is an add-on for Alex's Caves, expanding upon the Fallen Hollows biome, but it's not. It's an independent project, an ambitious one too. The mod features a progressive experience, from discovering new structures, to fighting demonic mobs, to obtaining new items and making use of them in one way or another. The occult is a very high quality mod. The animations here are terrific, and the simplicity of the mod makes it perfect for any RPG mod pack, giving you a terrifying quest to take. We're moving from the spooky theme to the wholesome theme. Ribbits was made by 3 of the most renowned developers on Earth, and the results are speaking volumes. The idea was to introduce a tribe of humanoid frogs, creatures that dwell in these swampy villages, living in mushroom-based houses. Some of the Ribbits are merchants. Much like villagers, they sell and buy items, and their main currency is amethyst crystals. The funny feature that contributed to this mod's success is the musical band within the village. At times, out of the blue, a group of frogs will gather and start playing this therapeutic melody. You could join in if you want to. This is a highly desirable mod, a project that went on its own way rather than conforming to the trends, which is something I respect. 2024 wasn't just a year full of great releases and amazing updates, it was also a year full of positive change. For more than 6 years, yes, 6 years, the Ice and Fire mod has been kept a Forge mod only, up until 4 months ago, where a modern creator has stepped up and ported it over to Fabric, with permission of course. I won't recite back the features of Ice and Fire, since at this point every single player is familiar with said mod, so announcing this pleasant switch of circumstances is enough. Photonics is a pretty special mod on the list. Working alongside the BSL shader, it is capable of producing terrific raytracing visuals with highly playable and at times butter-smooth frame rates. With the mod comes a complete do-over of the 2D blocks, with 3D models taking place and changing blocks such as the furnaces, ores, and whatnot. I did showcase the mod a while back, but it wasn't nearly as impressive as it is right now. I really love this mod, And if you have been a follower for long enough, you would know I used to be obsessed with anything graphics related. However, I don't particularly like the 3D models. Not to say they should be eradicated, but having an option to turn them on and off may be useful. I have reviewed Night Quest a while back, and boy oh boy was I oblivious of many features aside from the new armors. Turns out the mod has many features related to the explorative RPG style of playing. For example, you could stumble across custom mobs, those you could kill for new items, but be wary, they will put up a good fight. Additionally, you could summon others, turning them into pets or guardians. And what baffles me was the fact that there is a final boss here, with special rituals for summoning their phases that it undergoes during battle, a boss music, and even a neat death animation. The negative thing about the mod could be that it adds a massive amount of features, but the positive could also be that it has a massive amount of features. So, at the end of the day, it depends on what you're looking for in a mod. AAA Particles mod overhauls the vanilla lightning effect. It makes it extremely realistic and outlandish. Apart from this small and quality feature, the AAA Particles also allowed for the development of many other visual mods, so its operations are mostly behind the scenes. Call of Yucatan is about ancient Mayan and Aztec cultures, though it is sprinkled with lots of fiction of course. The mod adds 2 structures in total, located in the jungle biomes, and the entire journey will revolve around these monuments. The author established the mod so that you must first explore the deadly crypt before heading over to the overgrown temple. Loyal to ancient temples of this kind, the structures are filled with traps and puzzling riddles to unlock. These temples also have many skillful guardians that protect the bosses you'll eventually fight, which, by the way, is a terrific experience. Creators nailed it in terms of effects and animations. After having finished this journey, you will have accumulated an arsenal of unique armors, weapons, and items, but I would recommend focusing on the adventure itself. A playthrough centered around outcomes usually ends in boredom. Oh, the Biomes You've Gone is a sequence of the good old, and still going strong, Oh, the Biomes You'll Go. This isn't merely a port of the original mod into 1.20.1 and 1.21. In fact, it has 50 unique biomes on its own. Things you should expect to find here range from fantastic biomes, places where you will glance at the strangest geological features and the most bizarre combination of colors, all the way to new mobs and terrific looking structures. Oh, the Biomes You've Gone has expanded upon the concept of magical biomes, biomes that do not abide with the conventional laws and vanilla style, so I can see it setting the training foundation for any upcoming RPG mod pack. Cosmic Horizons is an immersion mod about astronomy and space travel. The beauty of this mod is indescribable. I've had my fair share of space exploration mods, but this is unlike anything I've seen before. The details here are engulfing. The planets are quite realistic, featuring beautiful and giant models, and the textures of the space itself are terrific, illuminated with stars, radiations, and plenty more tiny particles. The spaceship you will use to get in here is also well developed, and takes a different shape than the conventional rocket vehicle. Cosmic Horizons is a highly sophisticated mod, offering a unique and aesthetic space exploration. Scribble is a tiny VanillaPLUS mod on the list, improving your experience with the book and quill item in Minecraft. With the mod installed, you'll be able to signify titles by giving them a bold font, or lay out a quotation and giving it an italic font. You could even color code text for various reasons, and even save it as a file, but I don't know how to actually open those type of files. Simply put, if you are a writer, or you would like to give your partner a personal letter, then this mod will do wonders for you. Just Enough Guns is what you would call a vanilla-friendly gun mod. I know, it sounds silly on paper, but let me explain why it is not. The firearms here are produced using a new block called the Scrape Workbench. The manufacturing of the armaments requires ores that you will need to go and mine the vanilla way. See, not a bad start so far. Once you produce the firearms here, you will notice how simple they look. No excessive details or reflective surfaces, just good old Crayfish's gun mod kind of feel. This mod could serve as an external layer of weaponry to your VanillaPLUS mod pack. but the theme is irrelevant when it comes to preference. Maybe you are a simplistic individual who happens to enjoy altering the game mechanics in a simplistic way. Anything goes, so long as you are enjoying yourself. Subtle Effects mod adds beautiful VFX features to the game. Loyal to the name, all of these visuals are subtle and not suffocating. The most prominent effects here are of the lighting sources, but many small and equally convenient features can be spotted, like smoke clouds in freezing biomes, shearing sheep, the particles that appear when zombies and skeletons are being burned by the sun, and more. This mod is only a month old at this point, but you could already play on Forge and Fabric 1.20.1 up to 1.21.3, not to forget the technical fixes and the new features dropping in habitually. If you can recognize me, you can certainly recognize this fox hat I've been wearing for the past year. That's right there is Lucky's wardrobe. I tried the mod 2 days after it was released and featured it in my monthly wrap up for February 2024. Then I kept using it for aesthetic purposes ever since. Although I use this mod mainly for clothing reasons, it goes beyond that. Each piece of cloth here is craftable from raw sources. In addition, they are quite useful either for regulating your temperature if you are using something like Shabba's Nails mod, or for fun functionalities like Room in a Pond. Lucky is one of my favorite developers, and they have developed several other great mods, so I would recommend checking their profile in CurseForge. We finished this year's wrap-up with Astrocraft, a highly ambitious project surrounding astronomy. At first glance, you may think the mod only adds some extra stars and other aesthetic features to the sky, but this couldn't be further from the truth. The Astrocraft mod is made by a knowledgeable developer, featuring real-life astronomical features, from shooting stars to realistic sun and moon positioning, to longer and shorter days and nights based on the season, and more. Some of the events are only observable through a spyglass, giving this tool an extra use apart from being replaced by zoom-in mods. As the title suggests, this is part 1. Part 2 of this yearly series will release somewhere in December, so subscribe not to miss that out. Also, I'd like to apologize if most of these mods I have already showcased. The purpose of this series is to offer you the best mods released throughout not just the month or the week, but the entire year. With that being said, I wish you a beautiful and warm end of the year. Hope you spend it well and with family. Now see ya in the next one, my friend.